The views expressed on this Turnbuckle Tabloid live stream or Turnbuckle Tabloid podcast episode do not reflect the views, thoughts, or opinions of the Rageworks brand, including the Rageworks Podcast Network, Rageworks content partners, advertisers, and affiliates. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
It's your boy Jada Red Santy, your host of Turnbuckle Tabloid, here to say thank you to you, the listener, for being a part of the 7 years of wrestling, babble, and all things ridiculous here at Turnbuckle Tabloid. The podcast has been here doing it big for so many years, and we appreciate every person who's subscribed and listened to the podcast each and every year. But I got something else for you guys. Yeah, we've been doing it up different this time of year. Starting to expand our wings a little bit more. We're hitting up the YouTubes, hitting up the Twitch, hitting up the TikToks. Yeah, boy, hitting up the IGs as well. We're doing live streams there, and I want you guys to be a part of it as well. It's going to be exclusive content there. So what you don't get on the podcast, you'll get on the live streams. So it'll be great if you guys like, subscribe, began following all those social media websites for Turnbuckle Tabloid, and believe me, you will not miss a thing. Catch us there.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Hey, you. Yeah, you, the listener. In case you haven't heard, because I've been basically saying it for the past few weeks, we just started a new network. Yeah, New York Wrestle Media. It's a whole virtual experience visually for all those connected in the world of wrestling, pop culture, live stream video games. But what's happening? And it's not only me doing it. Yeah. Got a few cohorts who jumped in the mix. Covering subject matters as history, indie wrestling, news of the day, pop culture, and like I mentioned, video games. I know, me too. I'm excited. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, Twitch, and on TikTok for New York Wrestle Media. Follow, subscribe, like, be a part of the vibe of all things connected with New York Wrestle Media.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Michael Kingston, creator of Headlocked, and you are listening to Turnbuckle Tabloid.
Turnbuckle Tabloid, cutting a promo. I want to give you guys a quick overview of my thoughts and opinions. That's what the show is based on. Of the debut of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. It was a big celebration, hyped new era of streaming for WWE. They're moving away somewhat from the climate of ratings and such. I mean, NXT is still on CW and, SmackDown still on USA, but this is their way of basically touching on all platforms, making sure that, all bases are covered. But for me, I have a real strong feeling that if this becomes successful, they're going to entirely move their shows off the networks. I believe that they're finding that it could be a little bit more expensive than it should be, and that streaming actually is more beneficial because the companies are paying for them. So I think slowly but surely we're going to be seeing that occur, but that's going to be maybe 5-10 years down the line that we see this happening. But nonetheless, the debut of Raw on Netflix pretty much went without a hitch from, I believe, from many. I didn't hear much complaints about any buffering or any issues. I know a lot of people were afraid because of what happened with the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, but that wasn't going to happen with Raw because Raw was not going to draw 60 million people. That's just not what's going to happen. The good thing is that with this, it was streamed all across the world at one time. And that could have been problematic, but was it? It held its own. I didn't watch it live, had to work that night, so I ended up watching it at work. I did not have any issues with it at all. It actually looked really clear on my phone, played well, didn't have any hiccups. I'm not a Wi-Fi guy. I pay for my my gigabytes and shit. I'm on the unlimited plan, so I make sure that I'm always running. And I didn't have any issues at all. It did very good for, and it held its own. Unfortunately, Ariana, her Netflix did not come out so clear. She was complaining that she was having issues when it came to clarity and such. Maybe that's on her settings. It could be. Who knows? But as for anyone else that I knew, they didn't have any issues. As for the show itself, what a great opening to the show. We had Triple H kick off with such an opening package, with just all the videos and the superstars that were displayed from yesteryear to now. Such a grandiose introduction. The only thing that he kind of threw me off with was, and I know we're in a day and age where nobody's a fool and we know all this stuff, but there was a line in there that discussed about baby faces and heels, and I was like, okay. He could have been a little bit tongue in cheek with that, but all right, fine. But I thought that the opening of that segment of the show was fantastic. I thought it was great. He kicked it off very well, middle of the ring, and then we get The Rock, and which would have been a great opening for a show, especially of that magnitude, because of how many eyes were watching, and we pretty much knew that going into the show that this show wasn't for the diehards. This show was for the casuals or the returnings or those who are just flipping through their Netflix and go, oh, wow, Raw's on, WWE? Oh, let me see what's this about. I heard about it. And they put it on and The Rock was there. And we didn't get the final boss heel asshole Rock. We got Dwayne Johnson. Yeah. We got Dwayne Johnson. Company guy. So he pretty much buried the whole Cody angle. That's dead off. We're not doing that. Mama Rhodes. Yeah, that's over. Yeah, we're not doing that. It was just basically shilling for Netflix and shilling for the company. We got that. And then we started the night off, kicked it off with the battle for the true tribal chief, who's going to get the chili pepper necklace, the Ula Fala. Not a bad match. It is what it is. It was entertaining, to say the least. Yeah, by now, everybody who's a wrestling fan must have seen it. And which is, I believe that now on Netflix, it makes watching wrestling a little bit more easier. I mean, for me, I have cable, but I don't have it in my room or for my accessibility because didn't want it in my room. It's the whole box bullshit. So I only have it for the old lady, my mother, who needs it because she's visually impaired. And for me, I just go through my Fire Sticks or my Chromecast. it's easier now to find wrestling when I'm not able to watch it, especially with the schedule that I have. Now that it's on Netflix, it's been a chore to do it other ways. Like I have Fios, so on the Fios apps, it doesn't really work well for me for some reason. I don't know. I have the option to record it, but then they'll say playback not available here. It's a pain in the dick. But anyway, back to the match. It was fine. I even like the fact that Kevin Owens got involved and Cody got involved. It was a mixture of everything, but nonetheless, we get the true tribal chief wins, which is Roman Reigns, and as Paul is about to put the Ulafala on, we get Rock in the ring, and he places it on Roman. I kind of think that he took the moment away from Roman. I thought this should have been a moment for Paul and Roman to reunite as well as they should. But I think that, I think Rock took the spotlight away. I was hoping that maybe down the line, this becomes something in where Rock gets jealous, or Rock has to prove to Roman that he's not the real tribal chief, that he's the grand, because they were dropping little notes and comments about how since Peter Maivia passed away and this person's not here anymore, that now the Rock is like the grand chief, the high chief, or whatever they are, they're calling themselves. And I think that they were laying breadcrumbs down for possibly they're down the line, but I don't know. Rock could be Rock, or Rock could be Dwayne Johnson, whatever works for him. There's already some rumblings that he might pull away from WrestleMania 41 because he wants to make it more focused on John Cena as him being his last run. So we shall see about that. Speaking about Cena, Cena shows up, discusses about what he's going to be doing from here on out. He reminds the fans that he hasn't won a match in over 2,000 days, a singles match. And I guess, I don't know. He says he's going to enter the Royal Rumble. And is it 2,000 days? Is it 2,000 days? Well, whatever. Yeah, so I'm believing he'll go into the Rumble. Won't win it. I believe they have bigger plans for him down the line, but he won't win it. But he makes that announcement, and he got a rousing support from the crowd. We also got a match between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Decent match, fair match. Shout out to Liv. Liv was she held it down for a while in 2025. Give it to her, man. She's been doing big things. But Rhea gets the win here, and at the end we get a Undertaker pop out. Like, what? Undertaker? You'd have thought maybe Becky would show up, something like that, but no. Undertaker comes out after Rhea annihilates Dominic, after Dominic hold himself out and thought he was going to be able to win Rhea back just because she won the title. But Undertaker shows up, and I thought that maybe they would have done a little bit more. It would have been cool maybe if Undertaker choke slammed Dominic, and Rhea jumped on the back of the motorcycle of Undertaker. They both did the fist up in the air and rode off into the sunset. That would have been cool, but we didn't get that moment. Whatever. It was fine. Then get a little bit of here, a little bit of there, of whatever else was going on the show. But the big thing that happened on the show was Hulk Hogan coming out to support his sponsorship with WWE with his Real American Beer, and got a rousing sounds of boos. It was roaring through. Even an F.U. Hogan chant was going around at certain parts of the arena. Now, some have believed that since this is in Los Angeles, it being a blue state and Los Angeles being a liberal city, in most parts, it could be tricky out there, but in most parts, that this is the reason why he got it. But we just mentioned that Undertaker came out and he didn't get that, even though he had Trump on his podcast. Like, yeah, no, that's not, no. Guys, the real reason why Hogan got the treatment that he got is because Hogan is a fucking asshole. That's why. He's an asshole. And people are starting to read through his bullshit that he is a bullshit artist and he's an asshole. They're actually, I've seen people many compare him to the narcissistic ways of Ric Flair, which, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I'm more intrigued to know whether or not if he expected that, because not many people did. There was some I saw in the socials that was like, why would you boo such a great American? Piss off. The guy's an asshole. By the way, didn't he get booed at WrestleMania 37 as well? In Tampa, in his home. Wasn't it there? Like, what? Yeah. I think his boos were well deserved. I've never been a Hogan fan anyway, so I don't give a shit. Other than that, we get, of course, we get the heel treatment in which New Day didn't get their tag match because they said LA wasn't worthy of it. So I guess their tag match was moved to next Raw, and the debut of Penta will occur on Raw, possibly. Well, it looks like it's going that way because Chad Gable says he wants to fight the best luchador that's out there, and it looks like we're going to get Penta that night against Chad. I mean, I thought everything was running smoothly with the show. There was a lot of tangibles in there that could have played more to the wrestling fan, but I guess they saved it for the end when we got Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, and wow, yeah, I kind of was, not to say disappointed, but I believe that it was a little bit underwhelming. And Punk, I saw what you did there. The finish that you did there, you did that the same finish in AEW. So what you did there. But and ironically, it was done to a Shield member. Look at that. But the match still wasn't, I guess maybe because it was rushed, meaning that we shouldn't have been seeing this match on Raw. It should have been on a bigger platform, but we got what we got. And shout out to Seth as well. Seth did his darndest in his match as well. He looked really good and really played up his persona. But Punk gets the win here. Nothing, like I said, nothing really stood out for me immensely with this show. The stars were out there. They were out there that day. I mean, everybody was out there, from Macaulay Culkin to Topanga, or How I Wanna Bang. O'Shea Jackson, Michael Che. Everybody was out. You realize Fluffy, of course, Fluffy was there. But that's WWE, man, and that's wrestling. Period. People, they have this misconception that wrestling is just dorky and geeky and stuff. But I've been saying it for the longest. You watch reality TV, that shit is fake. You watch shows like The Lioness or NCIS, that shit is fake. We know this. But at least with us, we come to grips and know that we're watching a fight that may be predetermined, but we don't know, or we're not supposed to know what the outcome would be. And we wait with bated breath to see how it plays out. It's the battle of good and evil. And not only the celebrities, but the fans in the building and the millions and millions that were watching at home loved every minute of it. I'm just hoping that next week's Raw runs a little bit more, leans a little bit more to the wrestling fandom, the WWE fans, and gets back on track. And let's see how it really, really begins to capture and captivate audience that were not fans before or were casuals or left for some time. And let's see how if they bring them back into the circle. Because right now, regardless of how you feel about it, if you're mad or not, whatever it is that you believe, WWE's on a roll, man. They cooking, and let Triple A chef that up for you guys. So yeah, I thought that, you know, like I said, wasn't a show for me as a true wrestling fan, but it was entertaining. It had its moments. I thought it was cool. But other than that, what you guys thought about it? What do people think about it? And share your thoughts, especially on the group page and Facebook, and also share your thoughts wherever we are. We're on Blue Sky now, but we're on New York Wrestle Media, NY Wrestle Media. You can check us out on Blue Sky there. You could also share your thoughts on Turnbuckle Tabloid is there as well. So got much to do and shake it up over there with that socials as well. But much to talk about when we come back. Gonna have Ariana Nata Grande and Homework Mike drop in, and they'll be discussing a year in review. We'll be looking at what happened in 2024 and our predictions for 2025. So don't go anywhere. Stick around. Much to talk about, my peoples. And as always, check you guys in a sec.
Jay Bougie, and you're listening to Turnbuckle Tabloid.
This is the King of New York, Jay Bougie. You feel what I'm saying? Listening to Turnbuckle Tabloid.
'25 is here, and in wrestling terms, it's a new year. It doesn't mean anything, honestly. It doesn't. The only thing is, it pretty much is that it's the roll to WrestleMania and WWE and other wrestling promotions is just saying, who do we hope not to lose to WWE or any other promotion this year? I feel as though that last year in 2024, we had an interesting year in wrestling. We had promotions that actually did better than we thought they would. Promotions that came out of the woodwork that actually are showing some life in their company. We have some that are just stagnant in what they're doing right now, and we have talent that's been able to move around and bounce around and be successful. On the show this week, of course, we have our boy Homework Mike drops in, and as well as Ariana Nata Grande here. And remind everybody, I'm the beauty of this episode. So remember that. I am the good-looking one here. So
that's right.
Don't look anywhere else. So Ari, big shocker. Big shocker for you this week this year that happened in 2024. What was a big shocker for you that happened in 2024 in wrestling?
Oh God, there's so much that's happened.
I mean, the obvious one, the Kingpin goes down. Vince,
obviously, yeah.
I mean, that was in the works. That was in the works for a minute, but Ari, like, I know your hubby, had a good year this year.
Semi good year, yeah. I mean, that was great to see that moment happen at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a highlight. What else? Also, I guess, not a surprise, but I guess seeing Danielson have his day in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
That was really beautiful. I thought that was, really well done. And I think one of the things, like you said, like a lot of the switches that we saw, a lot of the guys and girls that went back and forth between the major promotions.
Right.
But that we never thought we'd see, pop up in in AEW or the other way around.
Yeah, and this is why I'm saying that I, as much as people may say, well, you hate on one company and join, I was like, no, I don't. When I smell shit, I know there's shit around. So it's like, it's not, I'm particular to one more than the other. I enjoy the fact that we have companies and promotions that are out because we love to see individuals pop up in different places. For instance, when you see talent pop up at a indie show, hell. We were at Arrival and Moose came out of nowhere. We were like, holy shit, where the hell did this happen?
Yeah, that was fun.
So it's good to see that there's even some love that's even being trickled down to the indie scene and such like that. It's a beautiful thing. Mike, who has been a disappointment for you in 2024? What's been a disappointment in 2024?
The promise or the false hype that we were having for Chad Gable. Because I mean, we were thinking like, oh, this man's gonna get a push finally, and he got a push, but it was like pushed under the surface, like pushed into his grave. I don't understand what kind of push he had, but at least he's using the spotlight. But it's just like it didn't make any sense. And then also too was like to see how the Wyatt Six appeared and how they've been treating them so far. Where it's like for so many months we were getting sort of speculating like, are they gonna have magic? It seems silly to say like, is magic gonna happen in wrestling? Meanwhile, it's like, thank God it's just normal tribute Bray Wyatt gimmick, where that's where it should be at this point. I'm very curious to see because now it's time. Like, do they go after championships? Because we'll have to wait and see how that goes for this year with them.
Yeah, with Chad Gable, it's kind of hit and miss with me. I got someone who calls me almost every freaking day. Shout out to my boy M2 Inc. That's my guy. He calls it to bitch about wrestling, and that's all. I'm like, save it for the show. Save it for the show. One of his biggest gripes has been Chad Gable, and I said, one example that he gave to me today was like, he's giving me Dolph Ziggler vibes. I'm like, I can't disagree on that, though. I can't. But at the same time, I really believe that there is going to be an upswing for this kid. There's going to be something that's there. The hope is that 2025 gives that that look that he's a company guy, that he knows how to put the business in. Hell, there's a tease already that's we're talking at. Most likely he'll be facing Penta on the debut on Raw. So that's a company move. That's a big thing in wrestling that says, hey, we're gonna debut a guy with someone we know that can work with him well. So it's actually a push. Hell, Ariana's husband got that push this past year. Damien got that look after he took care of Bad Bunny. So we'll see with that. Ari, who on the women's side for 2024 had been the most standout? Although tabbies are coming out, guys. Nominees are being made. Believe me, the discussions are being done. We're going to have out there our nominees so that you, the listeners and the viewers, are going to be the ones who decide from our 8 to chop it down to 4 who we have to select are our standout Tabby Award winners. But for just a teaser, Ari, who was a standout performer for you as woman-wise in 2024?
Toni Storm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
She took, this chance with this rebranding of her image that could have easily went downhill because, how often do we see a 1930s, 1940s style wrestler, any kind of character, unless it's in a historical movie, and pull it off the way she did? It could have really alienated a lot of fans, especially a lot of the younger fans. Mm-hmm. But she took it and she made it gold because she has amazing comedic timing, which we never got to see before.
Mm-hmm.
Ray on the mic, she was cutting these amazing, witty, snarky promos left and right. They left everybody like, did she really just say that? Mm-hmm. Did she get away with saying that just now? Yeah. And just everybody just fell in love with timeless Toni Storm.
Yeah, which is going to be a. It's funny because she's actually in the upcoming movie that's based on, I believe, is Mildred Birch that's happening, and Did you guys see who's playing Mae Young? Not Mae Young.
No.
Mula.
No.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's Mickey James. She would be playing Mula.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I forgot who's gonna play Mae Young though. But there's an assortment of hell. Naomi's in the movie.
Like I know Camille's in the movie as well.
Right. So that movie's gonna be interesting. So Tony basically got herself a gig basically by doing that because she was able to transition that into a movie role.
It's commitment too, because I mean, like it could have been like one bad city, like she gets booed out there, and then like next week let's do something else. Where from the end of 2023 till continuing to 2024, she kept it going. Like I already said, she got promos where she would say things like. And it wasn't the silly stuff where it's like chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoe. But there was when I was talking about Serena Deeb, like I don't care that you had cancer, like outrageous stuff.
She was saying talking about the parties that they were having and using those terms from that time that people are like, let me Google that real quick. What does that mean? Oh, that's what that means, Like, and even her matches were stand out throughout. Like she put solid match after match after match in her title defenses.
Yeah, who pretty much uses the word "who's gal" when talking about going to jail? Like those are
exactly
vintage words, the slammer or whatever stuff like that.
Bringing up like old Hollywood starlet and star names and having like orgies and stuff.
But that's something that we we kind of lose from year to year commitment to characters and their gimmick and stuff. I see what I did appreciate for 2024 is that they're trying to somewhat balance the line of shoot and fade. Cody actually walked around with a neck brace for a week or so after he took the package pile driver. We're still up in the air to know whether or not who really hurt Jade and if she's really injured. Like they're still trying to balance that out there.
Right.
But then we lost, when it came from the massacre that happened at Raw and with, the Wyatt Six killed everybody. I mean, come on, let's just be for real here.
Came back to life the next week. Very days of our lives. Nobody ever dies in WWE.
Yeah, and they got rewarded with contracts, which was the funniest part. Was guys, they kill people, and then I was like,
shouldn't they be behind bars?
And then I was like, I signed them on all the deals.
It would have been such a cool ending if it wasn't for the hole in Gable's head. Like that would have just like.
Yeah, I think that was one visual they went a little too far with. Because then they're like, oh, he's out, and then like on Friday they recon. They're like, oh, now he's back. He comes back with a bandage on his head, bruised,
walking around like nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
That would have probably maybe we been a little bit excessive with that. But speaking of factions and tag teams and such, Mike, who was your standout tag team so far from 2024?
This one was kind of hard to say because a lot of the tag stuff this year I feel like got left in the back seat for a lot of the year because like when you think about all the PLEs, especially for WWE, aside from WrestleMania. No tag title defenses, no tag team matches showcasing them. But I mean, if any team really stood out, I guess it has to be DIY because at least they had some tag title run. They got a tag title run twice, and now they're still the champions. And now we're seeing a heel version of both of them. I mean, we've seen heel versions of each of them separate when they feud with each other, but now that they're together, hopefully they spark life into it. I mean. As a guy watching TNA growing up, to get to see the Motor City Machine Guns finally debut on WWE TV, and funny enough, they win the belts in 2 weeks as soon as they debut. I mean, that was pretty special to see.
Yeah, I thought for me that it sucked that injuries that do happen in wrestling, but this one was an unfortunate happen. I thought ABC was really going to be like that, like. Team that's going to be the next one that comes out of TNA and probably would have gotten on everybody else's radar. Shout out to Chris Bay. I know there's been many GoFundMe's has been going on to get him well and such. that was a team that was on a real rise that I believe would have been on a lot of people's radar for 2025. I thought that faction wise, I'm a big fan of having factions in companies because everybody wants to be part of something. It's always cool to see somebody wearing a certain shirt. This year, I guess the bloodline stuff was the one that was working for everybody, especially early in 2024 when the OGs that came out. We were waiting to see how they were going to debut the other Samoans that was going to come out, or the other Tonganoans, the other Islanders.
Be careful, they're Tongans, not Samoans.
Yeah, the Tongans, the Samoans, and listen, Latinos, blacks, we all the same shit. No one can. We're all the same thing.
You said it, not me.
Hey, no, because you would be racist if you said it.
No, I'll be racist I'm the racist one if I say all the black people need to be unstable.
But listen, but speaking of that, one of those, and I got called out for, which is true. The Hurt Syndicate actually transitioned over very well to AEW. I just hated what they did to Shelton during the Continental Classic. I hated that. I thought it was
really.
Yeah, he had like the second lowest scoring. I
expect him to have a couple more wins.
Yeah,
but at least it wasn't jobbed out. At least he competed on the same level with a lot of them.
Yeah, still, it doesn't seem like a good debut for me.
The tough part with those kinds of tournaments is we already know that they have their plan going in, right? So somebody has to take the losses. It's unfortunate.
I would have probably not even put him in there. I would have just had him in other matches. You got a new person in there. Somebody to have been the schlub. Let them take.
There should be at least two losers in each league.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Mortals and Commander were for.
Exactly.
They barely got any wins, So Shelton did okay. It for me, it kind of showed all right, he has some competition.
Mm-hmm.
He really has competition now. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, we also saw some departures. We mentioned debuts and stuff like that. Shocking, Ari. Who was the most shocking departure that you saw in 2024 from one promotion to not even to another, or just leaving?
Wow, God, we saw so many people in and out. I have to think on that one. You may want to circle back in a little bit.
I'll give you one right off the back right now that I bet no one had on their bingo card. Samantha Irving leaving WWE right off.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, that was a shock. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
came out of nowhere on a Monday afternoon,
and it kind of wasn't, because I kind of was I don't know how long she'll last without in WWE after Ricochet left. I didn't think she was going to I thought she would have gone to AEW after him, but I guess having him not around made her see that there's more to her talent-wise than standing in a ring saying names. She could sing, she could play musical instruments. That's always been her dream, so why not go for it? Take the chance now that you have exposure and you have money in your pocket, because they know they paid her lovely. Take advantage now and get that dream career going.
It was definitely weird because the timing of it, because she was pretty much in every PLE. Did they bring in Mike Rome? They didn't bring in Alicia Taylor for those shows. It was always Samantha Irving, whether they're going to Germany or France. She was always there, and I think just when it's just on a random afternoon before, I'm leaving WWE for.
She said that it was in the works, that they already knew ahead of time that she was leaving that day. But
which still shocked me.
We didn't know as fans, but they, on business level, they already had their discussions. I think that, for she said it was 3 months in the making for her to leave, and the timing was perfect. That's what she said on Twitter. When to shut the fans up, blaming Ricochet for her leaving.
Well, them two really have not been angels on social media, but you know what? It's also too the trolls that
the fans are assholes.
No, I get that, but it's also too where it's when you leave the WWE, all of a sudden you now have you all of a sudden have a spine and start tweeting at people, like reacting. Where it's like the
because they weren't allowed to do it in WWE. WWE has a rule where they are not allowed to speak up to any fans unless it's praise. They have an image to, but now they're like, we're free to say what we really want to say. You want to come into my face and disrespect me or my husband? Guess what? I'm not standing for that.
And that's why you get toilet paper thrown at you.
Hey, working for him.
Hey, listen, for me, I said, hey, more power to them. Do what you got to do. I'm one of those that it's like, milk it till the cow is dry. If I was, in that situation, that's the way I would be. But I'm also at the same time, I'm stubborn where I could be like, I could be doing other things. I could be doing better things. So who knows? At the same time, more power to them. I hope everything else pops up. The one thing that I said was shocking about not departing, not making a leap, not taking that next step. MJF staying in AEW for me was like, really? Like,
but you called it though. You said he wasn't gonna leave.
He wasn't going anywhere.
I called it, but at the same time, I was still like, really? And for me, I really believe that. I kind of think he's scared. I really do. I think he's scared to make that. I think he's in a comfort zone right now in AEW that it's like he gets to go away. Hell, you only have 5 matches a year. What the fuck you gonna do? Right?
He has the freedom to do movies and stuff.
Right.
He's comfortable. That's the thing. He gets to do what he wants. I mean, the only time he gets to wrestle, aside from like when he was a babyface, he wrestled a lot. And when he's a heel, you never see him. You never see him. He's cutting promos, sending them in. He was a pay-per-view type of. He had that weird Brock schedule where he doesn't wrestle TV, but he wrestles on the pay-per-views.
Yeah, I guess he just had all these projects lined up ahead of time as well, and Tony will give them that freedom to be able to work outside of the ring, and it just all fell the way they did, and maybe that's why they decided to turn him heel so that he could be more elusive and be in and out more often, and come out and be like,
He's better off as a heel, honestly, but because the babyface was still weird because he was like y'all my scumbags, y'all the devil worshippers, like that's not babyface stuff.
You're my scumbags.
Yeah. And then to get a tattoo with the whole, I said, look, at least gratefully down the line, he could always fill in the circle where it says AEW and just black it out. But it's like, wow, we went all in, huh?
Well, at least he
pun intended.
Right. At least he chose it where his boot covers it, because if it was on his arm, he would have been fucking. Oh my god!
Yeah, right, not on his exactly, not on his neck.
Oof.
I will say that when WWE was able to work with TNA the past year, that honestly surprised me the most, because when you had guys like Joe Hendry and Jordan Gray show up in TNA, even like Hammerstone and Rosemary, the people that still follow TNA that love it to this day still. Getting to see them on a bigger national TV scale, because let's be real, TNA's TNA deal sucks. So at least they got to be on the USA Network and now the CW. So
yeah, the other shocker for me about departures was Scott D'Amore with TNA. I was like, really?
Yeah, that was mind blowing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a big one too.
That was power play bullshit too.
Yeah, but I actually had to look it up recently. It looks as though that he's in conversations with WWE. So
that's the rumbles I heard too. Let's see if it's real.
So does that mean like Maple Leaf Grappler, but Maple Leaf Wrestling is going to be on pause, or like he's not going to do it anymore?
They don't know yet, but they already had their inaugural show. And who knows? Like, listen, hey, there's rumblings and rumors that. Sean is ready to go to sit next to Triple H at Gorilla, and Scott D'Amore could sit there with what's his name from TNA? No, not Gabe. Jeremy Borash.
Jeremy Borash.
To help with NXT. So yeah, so that it could be possible. It can be possible. So that was like one of the big shockers for me. It's like, why? And then AEW should have been easily to sweep that guy up, but as Tony 2024 New Year say me 2025 is saying nothing's changing in creative. I'm still gonna run this thing and I'm gonna do it the way I want it. So it's like, good for you. Own it.
You can still bring people in just to be on like a team.
Yeah, but it seems as fast as they come in, they go. Like, I mean, Jimmy Jacobs, he hires people that you think would be perfect for a creative team, and then he fires them for no particular reason.
His ideas were terrible. His ideas were terrible, though. If all that stuff that came out was real, like, remember that list of stuff that came out? Everything sounded like crap, and I'm like, really? Like, how do you not know who Okada is, bro?
Yeah, that gotta be bullshit. Like, I couldn't
believe that. I mean, there's no way this man doesn't know who Okada is.
Although he is, I think he was the creator of the learning tree. I believe that was his thing. That was it. That was probably the one thing that came out of that.
Then he deserves to be fired. Because let's be real here, Jericho's been probably like the worst. I wouldn't say worst because there's other worst. The most annoying gimmick the past year for 2024.
One of them.
Yeah,
one of those people that came on TV like we don't need to see you on TV weekly. Like, where's the other stars? Like enough.
Right.
Well, the smartest thing that they ever did was was actually just leaning into going into the new year was turning Ricochet, and it was done beautifully because he was about to be on that same level on the same list of just go away kind of dude. He needed to be shaken up. He needed a shake up.
Yeah, that last week that was pretty awesome what he did.
Yeah, and one of the nominees that I wish I would have put on the list, but it happened so late in the year was the New Day turn. Oh my God, that was beautiful.
Yeah, that was mind blowing.
They took so many months to do that perfection. It was like you could have done this earlier.
I was thinking they were breaking up all this time, and then you gave the switch and bait on us.
Oh my God, that was perfection.
I don't know. I think that may have been the best thing that WWE has done all year because it caught everybody for a loop. Because a lot of stuff they've done, it's good, but it's predictable.
Such an honorable mention because it happened so late. Oh my God,
we'll throw it in there.
But since we spoke about what happened in 2024, we'll discuss 2025. 2025 so far is shaping up to be something interesting. We just saw New Japan and AEW have their past their pay-per-view just occurred. Kenny Omega's back. He had a great showing against Gabe Kidd. Great match.
Good showing on Gabe Kidd too. I mean, that guy showed off too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They both had a great match.
Yeah.
And such. Zack Sabre Jr. is holding strong there with the title.
It was sad to watch Wrestle Kingdom though, because you could just like tell, it was obvious when all the stars left, but it's like they're in a real struggling period where they have to make stars, and like I Shota Umino, Yota Tsuji, like a lot of those guys, like they're on the rise. But it's also good when you guys have like Zack Sabre Jr. and David Finlay when we get into predictions, where it's like the rumors of contracts up again. So it's like who's AEW going to steal? Who's on WWE's radar? Like because. Mm-hmm. A lot of people go from one side, well, at least go to the AEW, at least from New Japan, and I don't get why the AEW fans are like, oh, this is cool that we're stealing New Japan stars, but it's also like, if you love New Japan, you shouldn't like that either.
Well, it's funny because with again, you mentioned the departure of a lot of the elder statesmen, they're still trying to generate that buzz from incoming gaijin kind of guys and such like that. They had the last time they had a real rush like that was like in the mid 2010s, like that they had like that big push. This era now is different, but the one thing that I can say is that the Japanese fan base is ridiculous when it still comes with wrestling. Like shout out to AJ who was telling me about, because he went to Japan last year and he was talking about how there's still like pop-up shops for Stan Hansen and Bruiser Brody. Like WWE, wrestling fans here don't have that kind of still love and commitment to the culture as they do. So with them, they'll always find a way to bring up a star and such, and fan base wise. But transitioning it back over to the States is kind of difficult. Ariana, did you hear about what was going on with Athena and the other females that out there in Japan? They were actually killing it over there.
I hate that I didn't get to watch any of these shows this weekend. And I kind of just didn't follow up with anything besides the Kenny Omega Gabe Kidd match. So I don't know. I got to see if I could get my eyes on this somehow and see what the ladies are doing. You know?
And speaking of ladies, the Young Bucks won their 11.
Of course, they could cut. I will say for the women that in Japan, I did feel like they did show out, but I think the crowd was very mid for them because I think they had the 4-way match with Athena, Will, and the other 2 women, and the crowd was very silent. Athena hit the best O-face her finisher. And the crowd pretty much didn't react to it at all. So it was really weird. It was on Wrestle Kingdom, the IWGP Women's title. That match went 5 minutes. There weren't even 5 minutes on the fucking show.
Well, to be fair, women's wrestling in New Japan is actually fairly new. It's still maybe a couple of years in. It's not really something that's been a staple of that promotion as of yet. So the crowds also the fans in Japan are very different than stateside fans or other parts of the country. That's why.
But still, 5 minutes though. So
I would give
them a better attempt.
I would. Look at New Japan's cards. Their cards usually are freaking 15 matches themselves. They start at 2 in the morning here in the United States. So it's
I know. I'll wake up in the morning and I just go to Twitter and I'll still see people commenting on the show. I'm like, you've been up all night watching this? Jesus.
It's still not over.
Yeah, it's done at 7 in the morning.
I fell asleep with the show starting.
I mean, also, Zack Sabre Jr. showed up, even though it should not have gone 44 minutes. That was too damn long.
Well, yeah.
I heard someone else say that too. It was way too long.
Yeah, that, and that's their way of looking. I said, listen, there's certain traits that state fans need to pick up from Japanese fans. Like, for instance, sit down. You're already in the front row. Why are you standing up? Sit the.
Oh, that's why being 5'3".
Look at my asshole.
Oh my God! Yeah, it's sit down. You're already there, bro. Sit. But that's my prediction for 2025. Sit down. No one will sit down. They're not going to sit down anymore. No.
Everybody that sits front row will have a belt to pick up their pants.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Which is going to lead into 2025 and our predictions. Gonna go with Mike first because Mike, you pretty much had an idea of what 2025 is going to look like in your eyes.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the first one I'll start with is I have John Cena will win the men's Royal Rumble match and challenge Cody Rhodes to WrestleMania.
Okay. I don't see him winning the Rumble. I kind of believe that he'll win Elimination Chamber. I think they're going to say Rumble for somebody else. He's already given the "oh shucks, I'm not going to win. I haven't won a match in X amount of days. Boo hoo. But you know what? Never give up.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it'll be at Rumble, but I do see him winning it at Elimination Chamber. Adi, what you got?
Just a Rumble. I'm leaning towards Drew winning it. I just feel like it's his time. He leveled up big time last year. He carried a feud all by himself last year. It's time to reward the guy with the title shot and not have him just hold it for 5 minutes.
Right.
Well, I think with the window, the free agent window, I think they're moving him to SmackDown, so maybe they're going to do him and Cody down the road.
Right, yeah, because we saw them have that face-off and the hug, so...
I joked with you with the whole him doing the hugging thing every week until he wins Rumble. Then he goes,
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I got for Rumble. I think it's gonna be interesting because you're gonna have Cena, you're gonna have Punk, you're gonna have McIntyre, you're gonna have Owens. I mean not Owens. Sorry, you're gonna have probably Randy. And you're gonna have Roman. Roman has not been in the Rumble for some time, so that kind of throws something in the air with that as well. So I don't think it's gonna be any major shockers. They never really is, but I kind of think this year's Rumble is not as predictable as people may think it is.
Yeah.
I have a prediction for AEW, which might be a reach. Orange Cassidy will win the world's title in AEW in 2025.
I'm not on board with that. No offense to him.
Right. The thing is, with the booking, I can see them do the complete opposite of like what you think they should be doing. Because, like, I think like Darby should win the world title over him, but with Orange constantly losing, I could definitely see them be like, "Oh, like today's his day. He wins the belt."
It's funny because I see so many people after the weekend saying, "Scrap all your plans, put the belt on Kenny, let him have his final run," because we don't know how much longer he has left.
Yeah.
Let him be the one to beat Moxley. Let him come back and say, "This is my promotion. AW is my baby. You're not going to ruin it," and then take the belt off of Moxley.
Well, it looks like we're seeing a showdown with Kenny and Okada coming down again. We'll be looking at that again.
We have to wait till July.
No problem with that.
I get the Orange Cassidy vibe because the hapless hero who's been a day one originator of the company. But if not him, the second will go to Darby. But one of them has to be champion this year.
But the funny thing is, but for AEW, say either one of them wins, then you have Christian cash in and totally ruin the moment that he becomes champion.
Right. Yeah, how long he's gonna be walking around with that shit?
Beating people up with a freaking aluminum foil thing.
Say Darby wins the title, then he drops it to Christian, then he could go climb Mount Everest. He wants to do so damn badly.
Right.
Yeah.
Ari, who else? What else you got? What else you got, Ari, for 2025? What prediction you have?
Oh man, it's so hard because like it, especially after last year where there were so many different things that happened. I would like to see the tag team wrestling as a whole get elevated again because I really feel like tag team across all the promotions. I feel like a lot of the focus was on singles and factions and tag teams kind of took a back seat. We saw a lot of these tag, let's say Judgment Day, both iterations of Judgment Day having the belts. They barely defended it. You had the Young Bucks holding the belt. They barely defended it. And TNA, I mean, TNA's been a little bit better with their tag division because, you had the Hardy Boys right now as champions, which I'm still like, why? But, it is what it is. But I want to see that and hoping that they will actually say, let's take this a little more seriously and elevate it up. Because, it feels like, especially in AEW, where you're starting to see some of these pairings happen, that they'll strengthen up their division,
Yeah, I'm gonna tell. Sorry, Mike. Give me a second. I'm being a big tag team guy myself. I thought last year with a lot of hiccups that occurred were because of injuries that occurred. You saw ABC, we saw War Raiders have injuries and such. A lot of once one guy's gone, the other guy's just waiting in limbo to see what's going to happen next. So I think that was kind of what their big hiccup was for last year. But I agree. I think 2025 we should see an emergence of the tag team division again. What was that, Mike?
Everywhere.
I was going to add for Ari because I have AEW will introduce women's tag team titles.
That would be excellent.
Because Deanna Purrazzo and Ty Valkyrie are currently they're like a team now. So it's like if you're doing teams, like there would be tag belts for the women, right? I mean, if you want it to be all equal, might as well just do the last thing and then that's it. Because I'm surprised Jay's saying ew because you love championship belts more. The more the merrier. Meanwhile,
they got a shit ton, and I get it, but even still, that women's roster has yet to have for years to be showcased in a proper light. And tag team wise, I don't know.
That's their opportunity to do it.
Yeah, unless it's going to be a signature on, let's say, one of their shows.
Collision.
It maybe, yeah. But other than that,
they need something more with the women because they have a strong roster of women. and it's hard to display them all the time. I mean,
Right.
And it's funny that you mentioned that also. And I was thinking earlier about who else? I was talking to one of my friends who doesn't really watch AEW, and we were talking about old school wrestling and about, you know, wrestlers misting each other back in the day, the Japanese wrestlers. And I mentioned how, you know, in AEW we actually have Malachi Black and Julia Hart who have taken on that tradition of misting people. And then I was thinking about Sky Blue, right? So last time we saw her in the ring, she was a heel. She was still very dark. But when she popped up in Chicago during one of the shows and to speak about her injury, she was just her regular self.
She went backwards.
Right. And then Mariah May attacked her, and then Aminata came out and saved her. And they're very good friends outside of the ring as well. And I could see them kind of pairing them up as well on screen when Sky Blue is back. So that's another little tag team that they could form, along with Deanna and Taya. Yeah. They can reconcile Chris and Willow.
Exactly, because I mean, they have the women. It's just that their problem is, or Tony's problem is that he has a new woman. He has them to go for the title instantly, and then they lose, and then they go away, and then they stay on TV. But they get random wins on TV, where it's like you have two belts, and where if you add tag team titles, at least there's more opportunities for more of these women to show off.
Exactly.
Like I mean, if they did fuck up the Mercedes Camille thing, that would have been a perfect tag team. But I
don't know what happened there, but.
I mean, they also
have
they have the twin sisters, the Renegade sisters.
Oh, the Renegade twins, right? Yeah. I think.
No, you got Soraya, and what's the other one? Haley. Haley was
Harley Cameron.
Harley Cameron.
Harley Cameron, and then you also, you know, when Ty is back, they could have her pair up again with Anna Jay. Mm-hmm. They were a duo for a while. Like they have the opportunity to go well with having a tag division. You know, and the same thing with WWE. For a long time, everybody was like, why is there not a mid-card title for the women? So more women can have the opportunity. Now they finally have not just one, but two. So now we're going to see a lot more women working and being on screen. So, I mean, if you're going to have a new belt, it has to be for the women. No more for men. We're good with that.
They have three mid-card belts for the men in AEW.
Yeah, and then, you know, WWE got between the three rosters, they have a shit ton of belts.
Mm-hmm. My prediction for 2025: Cody heel turn.
I have that too.
Yeah, we definitely have to have this go down the line.
We do.
Homelander Cody.
Listen, I mean, last night when he was sitting in the audience and The Rock kind of like spoke to him, the crowd was booing Cody. Did you guys notice that? They booed him.
Yeah, they also they basically just threw out the idea, like, we're not doing Cody and Rock ever. We teased that, and now we're not doing it.
Yeah, that was a lot. The Rock put a kibosh on that shit.
Yeah, just pull the trigger on Homelander Cody Lander.
well, M2N came up with an idea. He says, what happens if he doesn't and he turns on Cena? Like,
right.
The old face of the company with the new face of the company. I said, that'd be interesting.
That'll solidify his heel status as the asshole. Like, you turned on Cena, our hero.
you made him not get his 17th world title, you son of a bitch.
17th world title. My God.
Yeah, that'll be something. I wouldn't be surprised in 2020 because I think that she is unhappy at where she's at. Camille might jump ship, and she's gone. I
have another one. I have the other one jumping.
Who's that?
Britt Baker.
Interesting.
I have Britt Baker requesting her release from AEW to go to WWE.
I think her health is holding her back.
And her attitude.
Yeah. But I feel like there's something with her health that hasn't helped her progress in her return.
Mm.
She doesn't, even when you see her, she looks really like, we were talking about that about Adam Cole, right? Like, Jay, like, they just don't look well, either one of them. She still doesn't look well. Maybe she tried to come back too soon.
Yeah, it's okay. Have a sandwich. It's fine. It's good.
Have a cheeseburger. It's good. Skin and bones when she came back. I'm like, good Lord, I can see her organs. She's so skinny.
Another prediction for my end. Ricky Starks debuts at SummerSlam.
You think he gets his release by that time?
Yeah. I think his contract is up in June. I think he debuts at SummerSlam.
Because I have him, Miro, and Ray Phoenix.
If not SummerSlam, SummerSlam weekend, because they'll probably slide him into motherfucking NXT.
That's what they're gonna do with him.
Which won't be a bad thing, though.
It'd be good.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that'll be a good thing.
Yeah, because I can't see him going up to the main roster and being a. They just have so many stars right now in their two main rosters. He'll get lost in the shuffle of little guys and wrestling like Dragon Lee on speed.
You should be competing for the speed title. Not sure we're not doing that on that.
No.
I always forget those damn belts exist too. Like
I can't wait till WWE gets on fucking Blue Sky in 5 years from now. They're always late to know what's like the new shit. So they're 5 years from now.
Like Blue Sky Turbo matches.
Yeah. Well, I said it when you were talking about the Ricky thing, but I have like Ricky, Ray Phoenix, and Miro. Do you think those other two get their releases as well this year? Or we wait till the following year?
Ray's being held until the summertime. That's as long as his contract is.
This summer?
Yeah. They just tacked on that injury time, so I think it should be about to July. Okay. As for Miro, I don't even know if he even cares about wrestling anymore these days.
I don't think so.
He wants his release, but his contract's still 2026.
He moved to Bulgaria after his divorce.
Yeah, he went to Bulgaria. I believe he's been doing some films out there.
Yeah.
Even doing his gaming again and such like that. But
maybe
I don't
he
know.
just tapped out of it. Like he's probably like, I'm done with this business. This business hasn't been good to me like as I thought.
I mean, good for him. I mean, if he has a success in Hollywood and wants to do acting, so like, let him
he's
do it.
got a great look.
Right.
TNA possibly gets swallowed up by WWE.
I have that.
Yeah, that's a scary one too.
Because I think with them talking about reducing or not giving the roster the pay that they want, or like was it budget cuts?
Yeah.
I think this is 2025 might be the end of TNA, because I do think like WWE will be nice and bring in a lot of the talent, but. I
mean, if they do that, I don't even know. It's such a hard situation because you don't want to see TNA go away, right? Because that's an option.
No,
it's an option for other people. It's been around for so long. You really think about it, but then when you hear things like, Chris Bay had to create a GoFundMe for Chris Bay so that he could have money in his pocket while he's injured because TNA can't afford to pay him only his medical expenses. It's like that hit me hard. I'm like, ooh, that's not good because a lot, some of these. It's scary because a lot of these guys get injured, and his injury is very serious, right? It's his neck.
Yeah.
And like, what if he can never come back?
And the company's owned by like $1 billion network, right. So it's like, but WWE would actually swallow them up for like pennies on a dollar, so they're probably get it for cheap. But the other for me is that we're already hearing that. The next show that's going to be on the table is Evolve. The NXT NXT Evolve is happening. Wow. So, that could be a place where rather than have the NXT newbies that come in, you can start sliding in the TNA talent into NXT and use the Evolve as the the NILs that are coming in. That'll be
the real developmental.
Yeah, because with them they're they're. With the Evolve, they're talking about it more being story driven. It's not just going to be a level up. They're going to actually have them cut promos. They're going to have them in angles and stuff like that. So you could switch things around.
I mean, I would like to see if they were to buy out TNA. Is just keep TNA. Just keep it. Maybe you can have it as a Netflix exclusive promotion.
Maybe.
Just keep them. Let them still rock. Just throw in some money in there and. Give these guys because they're not going to swallow them all up. They're going to release some people.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, there are options now for people to go to work other places, but some of these guys and gals may not be able to get a position in like AEW or, even in the bigger indies like GCW or MLW. They may end up falling along the wayside.
a guy like PCO would be fucked in the situation because WWE's not going to hire a 57-year-old man to come
that
back
just throws himself through tables, right?
Right.
No.
I mean, like you look at guys like Moose, Josh Alexander, Rosemary. I mean,
right.
I mean, she still has a lot of heat.
Somewhere.
She has a lot of heat still, but Tessa Blanchard would definitely make a lot of money in WWE despite all the bullshit.
And that's another thing is like if things are that could possibly be as bad as they are, why would they sign somebody like Tessa Blanchard? Why would they sign anybody right now?
Right now, she's on her.
They're losing their moneymaker. They're losing their biggest female star.
That is true. They needed to replace her. Yeah, that's true. They need to replace her. But I mean, they could have also worked. You know, you got Masha.
Right.
She right there is the one to replace Jordan as a top star. Obviously,
right.
You know. Yeah, it's one of those where I just hope that they can pull up their bootstraps and survive without having to be bought out by anybody, you know?
Mike, what else you got for a prediction? Sorry about that.
My next prediction is I think this is going to be the year Zilla Fatu gets a WWE ID.
Yeah. Well, ID. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, that's fine.
That I'll take.
Right.
He's not ready for the big time yet.
But I definitely think like by summertime he's going to get the WWE ID tag on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if you agree, but to me, he's still green as shit to me.
He is. He's very green.
It's going to be interesting to see his match with Rhino and House of Glory because you know Rhino's going to be guiding him through that whole thing.
Yeah, that's good. It'll be a fun match. They're going to be beating the hell out of each other.
Like he has the charisma, but his in-ring stuff still needs work.
Yeah, it's still very, I don't want to say sloppy, but it's still very rough around the edges, you know?
Right.
And I understand that's his style. The Samoan Dynasty style is rough as hell in the ring, but it has to be done in a way where it also looks smooth at the same time, you know?
Wow.
Like you see Jacob. Jacob is rough as hell, but it looks like ballet sometimes when he moves around the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he still needs to own up on, like being a little smoother in the ring in his moves.
Is it Ricky Starks versus Santana at HOG
in Chicago?
That's in Chicago.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Also, I think Ricky might be also coming here, but I don't know who he's facing. I know Kent.
I know he has a New York show too.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what.
Not a shit. Santana drops about Ricky Starks.
You know what though? I wouldn't mind seeing that.
See, that's the shit. I want to see it. I want to be here for it.
Right. I mean, those are like one of the small ones. Like I give you, I also have like Samantha Irvin will join AEW, but be Ricochet's personal valet or manager. She won't do any ring announcing.
That's all right. That's a one. She's gonna be the new Brandy.
Pretty much. I mean,
yeah.
The one and only best hi-fi in the world, Ricochet. I definitely see because that's what she said she wanted to do. She wanted to be a manager of LA.
That's true. She said wanted some on-screen role. She wanted an on-screen role, and they weren't on board with that. She's gonna be the
new Ricardo Rodriguez.
That'd be kind of cool, though, actually, seeing her come out and be his personal ring announcer, and he come out all cocky and shit.
Yeah, I can see that.
With his serial killer sunglasses on, you know?
Hopefully they don't throw toilet paper at her. Because
then Ricochet will give her the scissors and she'll start stabbing people.
Yeah, I need that.
That'd be wild, seeing her stabbing up women and stuff with the scissors.
That'd be fun to see Samantha commit murder.
Like, damn, girl.
I can see it now. Ricochet going, hey, Tony, we got an idea, man. Samantha and I, here you see. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Like, cool. Do whatever you want. Yeah, do it.
Oh no, Santana's wrestling Kenta at Final Warning.
Oh, okay.
Here for New York.
Here in New York, right? Yeah.
Damn it.
And then Rhino and Zilla. Those are the only matches they've lined up.
Man, and they have Cardona and Zilla in Chicago, right?
In Chicago, yeah, I see that right here, Chicago.
Another prediction. What's your thoughts of Cardona coming back to WWE?
Agreed.
Maybe.
Like he comes back as the Rumble as Matt Cardona.
I don't know, man. I
He
just
goes up at the Rumble.
I mean, I called it. I said on the Rumble episode too, which everybody should go check out.
yeah, you just say it.
Yeah, he did.
Because you do this countdown clock, play his whole theme, and then do the record scratch, and then play his new indie theme, and then he comes out. Because the idea of putting him and Chelsea on SmackDown, like if Matt Cardona gets the men's U.S. title and them two carrying both U.S. belts, like we're the most American couple in wrestling history.
Is he wrestling that GCW show on the 19th?
That'd be his last. Yeah, he'll be at the Hammerstein. But that's the end of his indie run, though.
I mean, let me see. I don't know. I just don't see him leaving the indie scene yet. I feel like he's loving it right now. He's been loving it.
I mean, the whole Ring of Honor appearances was just a waste of time.
I mean, they wanted, they wanted a face to catch attention, and Cardona being so popular here in the city, being a New Yorker,
Meanwhile, Homicide's sitting right there. You couldn't do Homicide and Jericho.
Well, Homicide is very particular about the matches he signs up for.
I don't give him the money I don't give him all the money in the world to drop Jericho on his head.
Yeah, I would too. But he's very particular.
I can't do
conversations that we've had, yeah.
You can't do that. He's a legend, though. That guy's a legend in the business.
I respect for him, yeah. No.
You can't do that to a guy like Jericho, yo.
Wait, Kurt Angle's doing a seminar for HOG? Oh my
Yeah.
God. I totally forgot about that. Look at that. Yeah.
Kurt is doing it. Red. They announced Red doing the seminar.
The same day? The same day as Final Warning?
Yeah.
So he's doing the seminar the same day as Final Warning. So that means he's going to be at the show.
Correct. But they haven't announced him as
They haven't announced it yet. He'll be there.
You think he's going to hang out?
You gotta take advantage. Like, hey, we're bringing you in for a seminar. Might as well hang out for the show.
I mean, they brought him in before. Like he's done House of Glory before.
So another prediction we mentioned. Cena wins the title for the 7th to get the 17, right?
I have him winning on night 2 of SummerSlam.
Night 2 of SummerSlam.
Correct.
SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So not Mania.
Because then you go into the fall, and then I think you can have like your Braun Breaker, or somebody young, Jacob Fatu, somebody. Anybody just beat John Cena. Because I think John Cena will have like, his own dedicated PLE at the end of the year.
I predict his last match will be Randy.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think his last match will be Randy.
Jay, you and me are on the same page. Look at this.
Yeah, I know. It's
scary. It's not supposed to happen.
Scared. Kind of odd.
I can see that. They came in together.
Yeah.
How about this oddball? I predict Paul Heyman turns on Roman and CM Punk in alliance with The Rock.
No, but I can't agree with the fact that Punk will get something because Heyman owes him a favor. I believe that somewhere along the line he's got to give him something. Got to be a shot of something.
I think it's the WrestleMania Night 1 main event. Or one of the nights.
It has to be something. He owes him for that Survivor Series thing. So
he's going to make him the head of the table.
Punk knows already. Punk knows that his time is not long in the business in the ring as well. So as I was talking to somebody, because they're like, "Oh my God, he's gonna sit there, he's gonna want to win the title." I was like, as much of an asshole Phil could be, Phil is also like a professor in wrestling. He knows that it's not really about the title. His moment is about having a great spot at Mania, and that's what he wants. Shawn Michaels is known as Mr. WrestleMania. His record sucks in Mania. Yeah. So I don't think it's about him getting a title. I think it's more about getting a moment, getting something, just getting something, because he hasn't really had it in his manias that he had previously.
And Punk said at the post show, he said that I'm getting older, so I'm not going to be able to physically do a lot of the stuff I used to do. So, and he's using his mind. I mean, he has a plan for WrestleMania. Right. I don't know if it's against Roman Reigns or against Gunther. A lot of the title matches, or at least the two main ones are like up in the air for me because it's like there's so many factors with the Cena. You know what? I hate to say his name in this conversation, but Goldberg too, because you never fucking know. We might actually get Goldberg and go to WrestleMania.
You said it twice. You say it one more time, and he's gonna pop up on fucking SmackDown next week or some shit like that.
They already confirmed Goldberg's. They said Goldberg for the 27th on Raw, so you know what he's going to come back for.
I know I'm not tuning in then.
That's the one Raw you skip.
By the way, Ari, how was your feed for Netflix?
Don't ask.
It was awful. I feel like I'm the only person in the entire world that had this issue because everybody's like, it's crystal clear for me. And I'm like, why am I the only one complaining that it looks like I'm watching a VHS tape from 1987?
The funny thing is, like, that's your stream, like, right now, too. Like, it's not very clear, but it's like you're, like, moving slower.
Well, we expect this. You know, this is a Netflix that we're on. Come on. Like, I pay money for Netflix. Everything else on Netflix is nice and clean, nice and smooth. I changed from the show I was watching on Netflix, literally, to Raw. Boom. I was like, what the hell is going on with my screen?
I just a heads up. I watched it. I didn't watch it live. I watched it on my phone at work. It was beautiful.
I felt so bad because it's like I'm like very clear on my screen, and you're like, "What the fuck?" It's blurry.
You saw the little clips I posted. It looked terrible.
You had the tiny Tony Storm, like Vaseline on the screen.
No, that's exactly what it felt like. What am I watching? Like, this is mess. Like, it really took me out of the whole. I mean, I didn't find the show intriguing. It was too much talking, too many promo packages. I'm like, this is not for the real wrestling fan. This is for the casuals.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. That was the same thing that I said. That show was for the returning fans.
An hour and a half and only one match?
It's a total thing when Macaulay Culkin gets the pop of the night.
Dude, he got the biggest pop of the whole night.
Get booed out the building. Like, holy shit.
Thank God Hogan got booed because he deserved it.
That was hilarious.
Ari, do you think, as a prediction, Rock shows up for Mania?
Yes,
wrestle. Not a whole spot, not a guest spot. Wrestle.
See, now that's where I'm kind of been tossing and turning in my head because the way he came out yesterday as Dwayne Johnson, he didn't come out as The Rock, right?
Thank you. That wasn't The Rock. That was
Dwayne Johnson. He put over Roman. He put over Cody. There was no kind of acknowledgement of where they left off with their feud a year ago, right?
Right.
And I just feel like that was his way of saying, I may or may not be there, and if I am, I'm not going to wrestle. I'm not going to get involved in the storyline anymore. He gave Roman his lei, his necklace. I always forget what it's called.
The Ulafala.
The Ulafala. And for me, that was kind of like his way. And it's true because I remember Mike was like, I thought he was going to jump him, right?
I think they had that camera angle where he's in the corner, like posing, like waiting.
I was waiting too. I'm like, is he going to jump him? And he didn't. He just stood there. He let him have his moment.
They're gonna have that moment where Roman turns his back on him, and he's like you turn your back on me, and then like I knew because now they're promoting the 27th that they're gonna have a acknowledge me celebration. Great.
I just feel like if he'll be there to get involved, like outside of the ring, like he'll be involved in a match, but he's not going to be in the actual as a contender in the match, as an opponent in the match. I don't know. I feel like maybe he's slowing down.
If he fucks up WrestleMania plans one more time,
listen, you say he fucked up the plans. I said he saved WrestleMania because Night 1 would have been garbage without him there.
Oh, they redeemed it though because initially last year it wasn't like all like roses and shit. It was bullshit the way they started it off. I mean,
it was fine.
I just said that he
shot himself in the foot.
It's very obnoxious. I think he took the spotlight away from Roman by doing that shit with the Ulafala thing. I think that it wasn't his moment to do that. It should have
Rock though. He always does this.
But it was for Heyman to do. It was for Heyman to do. The only thing that I say is that if it alludes to down the line in which Rock does turn on Roman and says, you know, you're not because they kept talking about who's the Grand Chief and who got handed or the High Chief and all that stuff. So that's the only thing that it breaks down to, that at Mania it becomes Rock performing for the true tribal chief of whatever. That's fine. But other than that, like I don't know. I think he took a big piss out of everybody.
I think that was the first time they actually. That was the first time I think they actually said that on TV too. They since his grandfather passed away, like he's officially
exactly.
Because like last year, like they never said anything about that. They showed that big tree graphic thing and never said like what The Rock's role was or like his standing in the family. Because they also did that thing on SmackDown where Roman said acknowledge me and he did it. Like, and then there was no follow up. It was like, oh, like Rock's following Roman, and you're thinking once Roman lost, like Rock's gonna be like, oh, like you suck, like you don't deserve your ranking, like you disappointed the family. Like, and it's like we got nothing of that.
Yeah.
No, it's just why like it was just him being Dwayne Johnson, you know, because the last time we saw him before, he came out, he did the whole little, and it walked off, right?
Yeah, it was like then it's like last night, like Cody, I love you.
Yeah, he's like, Cody, I love you. I love what you've done. We bled all over town, blah, 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 and all this shit. And it's like, okay, Dwayne, like, you beat the shit out of him is what you did.
It was funny. He said, like, make sure you tell Mama Rose I said hi. Like, that was, like, the only thing of that story.
You know, and even that was funny. But at the end, I mean, who knows? It could have just been, you know, the people in charge telling him, listen, since a lot of people are going to tune in that don't know who you are as a wrestler, you need to just be yourself.
Right.
Well, they definitely gave him the word, like don't go too long. We have everything timed perfectly.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I got two more.
Longest show I've ever seen,
yeah,
man.
I have three more.
All right. The Cope wins the world title at AEW.
Now that's when I would have Christian cash in on him just because you ain't doing shit here.
Yeah, I would have him win the belt just for that, so that he and Christian can have. Because come on, you know the chemistry is phenomenal together.
Oh, by the way, I just started it. You know, Christian's gonna say like, "What the hell kind of name is Cope?" Just because your mother died doesn't mean you have to name yourself Cope.
Yeah, yeah. And your father abandoned you.
At least I knew my father.
No Cope.
Woo.
Who else you got?
I said on the Rumble episode, but I have Charlotte Flair win the Women's Rumble and facing Rhea at WrestleMania.
Okay.
To do that trilogy.
Yeah, gotta run it back. Okay.
Yeah, now after Rhea winning last night, that's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, when the gong went off, I go, "What are we doing?" I was like, "What are we doing?"
This opportunity, man. They should have had fucking Rhea ride on the back of the motorcycle with Undertaker and ride off.
I was pissed because in that moment after she won, I said, "Okay, let me see what the hell's going on with my settings," and I backed out, and then I went back in, and Taker's like rolling around the ring. I'm like, the hell did I just miss? Like,
it's like you skipped a segment. You thought,
yeah. Shout out to Matt. Matt was like, you know, she after the whole thing beating up on Dominic, and so Taker should have came. Did the whole run around the ring, picked up Rhea and rolled her to the back, and they just
that would have been dope. With their fists up in the air together.
Rolled off.
That would have been cute.
No, they missed a chance for Undertaker to give Dominic a choke slam. I like the kick of the balls, but that would have been something like he just grabbed him by the throat and just slammed him.
What else?
I also felt like, I also felt like with that segment, like I had mentioned it, like Damien should have came out. That was his best friend winning the belt.
Right.
That was his idol in the ring, or his idol came out. They could have done something together too, like
that's
double
true.
choke. Like Finn could have came out and they could have done double choke slams and shit. You know?
All right.
I can only see Audie in the pitch meeting right now for creative. Okay, I got a spot for Damien again.
Yeah, hello.
Again.
You gotta use this man.
Meanwhile, he was nowhere on the show.
No.
And then they announced, next week main event street fight with Finn Balor.
He was backstage with a weird looking suit on.
One of my last ones here, I'll just give. I think this one I kind of hope happens, but I have David Finlay chooses WWE over AEW and signs with WWE. His name is Finlay, and he still loves to fight.
Yeah, there is a pipeline there for it. There is something there, straight there. Yeah, that would. Yeah.
Because WWE has to snatch one of these guys from New Japan at this point, because they're all going to AEW. And looking at David Finlay and his history, or who his father is, it would be a better fit, I think, in WWE, and maybe WWE could show something. It'd be also weird to see him in NXT, but also like I see him mixing well with the WWE roster than the AEW one.
I can see him as a Judgment Day guy.
No, I think Judgment Day is going to disband this year.
You think so?
Yeah, they need to kill that. I actually would like to see Judgment Day, just see it end, because it's so bad right now. That's why, like, I always have my fear about, like, on one hand, yeah, you want to see Rhea and Damian separate from them, but on the other hand, they were the glue that held the group together.
Ever since then.
Yeah, on them, and these guys are.
Maybe they need a real leader. Maybe that could be. Remember, Finley, wasn't he a member of the recent Bullet Club?
No, he's still their leader.
Oh, look at that. So Finn being the originator of the Bullet Club, hey, there's ties there.
Little story there, yeah.
Yeah. Ari, you have anything?
Honestly, I don't. I was sitting here thinking about what could happen, and it's just so hard because it's so unpredictable these days with the behind the scenes going on in wrestling. It's just so unpredictable.
I mean, it's funny because I have Damian Priest winning the men's chamber to challenge Gunther for the world title, so that pretty much settles. Because I think it's like either Gunther is Goldberg or Gunther is somebody else or Cena. It's like all the challengers are mixing around with.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so hard to pinpoint something,
Right. For all we know, they could do. Imagine this: Cody, Roman, Cena, and Punk in a 4-way.
Something
like a random. We don't see 4-way matches in WrestleMania often, and you have 4 of the biggest personalities in one ring because you can tell the story too. Cena either wins the Rumble or he wins the Chamber to get in. Roman technically still has a rematch that he hasn't used yet, and then Punk has the favor. That'd be it. Because imagine if it's Roman, Cena, and Cody, and then Heyman goes, unfortunately, my tribal chief, the favor is now. CM Punk's in this match as well. Because it'd be an interesting 4-way match, and then you can still do the Cody heel turn. Be like, I just beat all 3 of your heroes or darlings.
Yeah, they need to do something. Yeah. It's just tough. It's tough because we start falling into like the fantasy booking, department with the stuff, and it's like it's just it never goes our way.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm gonna say anything, I see Willow defeating Mercedes. Defeating Mercedes for the belt.
Which one?
Yeah, right. Now she's got a whole collection now. But the TBS, she's taking the TBS belt off of her.
I would say she beats Mariah.
I don't know if that's.
I think
well, either Chris.
Yeah,
maybe I can see Statlander leveling up to the title.
Yeah, finally.
She needs to.
Yeah, finally.
But Willow, I think she's gonna. She's the one that lost it to her. She's the one that's gonna take it off of her. Full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, for me, which is gonna be the longest shot of a prediction here, I'll say. Finally, Tony realizes that it's not working, and he gives up the book, and it's either going to Jarrett, Danielson, or Jericho.
No Jericho. I think Danielson will be the one.
I think Tony's been public saying like if he ever dies, God forbid, that Danielson will take over.
if he can't run it, it'll be Danielson. Yeah.
If he runs out of coke and just passes out.
Yeah, one of those.
And then Jarrett could be like the right hand man for Danielson.
Yeah, I think they're gonna finally realize that that the consensus is across the board with just what they have right now is just their fan base, and that's it. And doesn't seem like that growth is gonna be there. And they're gonna realize it's because booking is shit. So they're gonna end up. You're gonna have to fold and say, "Hey, listen," or the network is gonna say, "Listen, you're gonna have to do something. You gotta change this up."
I don't even think the network cares. They're like, "Hey, you're still bringing this money, so."
I don't know, and I think that's what it's gonna be. This will be the telltale sign of it. 2025 will be the telltale sign because of it. The only thing that works for them is the fact that they transitioned over to Max, and which is funny because they still drew a 588 fucking rating. 588,000 watched that day. So who the hell watched it on Max besides me? I did.
Everybody I know watched it on Max. Everybody.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it live. I watched it. afterwards, right? Immediately afterwards. And when I put it on, I didn't get English. I got Spanish subs on mine.
Really?
Yeah. And I got the Spanish translation on mine. I was like, what the hell is going on with this?
That's hilarious. Mine was perfect. Everything went. I felt like I was in the arena watching it. That's how clear it was on my TV. I'm like, see now, why couldn't Netflix do this for me?
Ari had the opposite effects from the Netflix one to the HBO Max.
Oh my god! When I put it on, I was like, whoa, this is so bright. It looked beautiful.
Yeah, that was the only
issues with audio. Nothing. I too.
I think Danielson will eventually, he'll have a bigger role, and I do think. Because I don't know what the hell is going on in Ring of Honor. I mean, you can give Nigel McGuinness the book for that too, or Jarrett gets the book for that. Great. It's like there's people over there that, like McGuinness and Jerry Lynn, that are over there. Like, give them Ring of Honor. Like, I don't think Ring of Honor is getting a TV deal. I don't think that's happening.
Well, there is talks of possibly getting them one, but who knows where?
I don't know. What I see is maybe like the Honor Club getting absorbed by Max.
Yeah, that could be it as well. Yeah.
It on Max.
Because content is key these days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that, guys, thanks again for your time for stepping in. You guys had a jam-packed episode this week on History and Headlocks. Ariana, what happened on that show this week?
Oh, well, we were discussing the history of the Royal Rumble and, its origins, some of the highlights that we've seen along the way, some of the lowlights that we've seen as well. And we also had our Royal Rumble predictions.
And Mike, we were introduced to a new game, Mike.
Identify Hogan's lie, which is funny because there's so many of them. So this game's gonna go on forever.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a litany of segments for that coming down the line.
But don't forget, we had a third person join us. We had my former podcast host from General Admission Wrestling Podcast, Ben, joined us, so that was very interesting. And
yeah, it was kind of awkward. It was like the old girlfriend met the new girlfriend. It was kind of
and I made that joke in the intro, sir.
We were both like, "What?" Baby
like,
Mance Warner.
All right.
Really, I never realized. I'm like, wow, he really does look like Mance Warner when he started talking like Austin. I'm like, whoa.
So you're the new me? Yeah, you're the old me?
Damn.
All right, guys. Thanks for checking in, man, as always, man.
Yeah.
And as always, guys, don't go anywhere. Check you guys in a sec.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Turnbuckle Tabloid.